Good morning, I'm Ryan Bridge. Great to have your company. It's the 17th of November. Coming up on the show this morning, Trump's dumped the beef tariffs, which is great news for us. The average American eats 3 hamburgers a week. The Meat Industry Association is happy with the news. They're with us shortly. And the Bay of Plenty town of Kawerau has not had a lot of luck lately. Today it is buzzing after someone there grabbed a share of Saturday night's massive Lotto draw. And the Grand Slam dream is dead. The season looks pretty uninspiring, so where to from here for the ABs and Razor? All that straight ahead. First, Neva.
Herald NOW News, powered by Newstalk ZB.
Trade Minister Todd McClay says he'll continue to make the case for removing more tariffs on more New Zealand products. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order reducing tariffs on a wide range of food imports. They include New Zealand beef, prepared meats, offal, kiwi fruit, berries, avocados and certain fresh fruit. Todd McClay says exports will now be able to recover to pre-tariff levels, but tariffs on products like lamb should also be lowered too. The country appears to be split down the middle on its stance on a capital gains tax. The New Zealand Herald Kantar poll shows a dead heat between supporters and opponents of Labour's capital gains tax, with both sides having 39% of respondents behind them. All but one of the country's regions, Auckland, were generally in support of the policy. Concern New Zealand's facing a scam epidemic with a record $3 billion lost over the last year. The latest State of Scams in New Zealand report finds 23% of Kiwis have lost money to scammers, with the average victim losing more than $3,000. It notes Gmail and Facebook are the top platforms scammers are using, with shopping scams the most common. Police have confirmed 4 people died in a house fire involving children in Manawatu, Sanson, with 1 body still not found. Emergency services were called to the property southwest of the town on State Highway 1 about 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. The bodies of 2 children and an adult were recovered from the scene yesterday. Police say investigators will focus on finding and recovering the 3rd child today and will complete a thorough scene examination. They say they aren't seeking anyone in relation to the fire. Health authorities are working to limit the spread of a superbug at Christchurch Hospital. There are 2 outbreaks of antibiotic-resistant superbug, vancomycin-resistant enterococci or VRE at the hospital. Health NZ's Dr Sarah Berger says there's currently fewer than 10 patients in Christchurch Hospital with VRE, but the outbreak is linked to a larger cluster in Auckland. Disappointment from Health New Zealand over the nurses' organisation's decision to strike during mediated bargaining. More than 37,000 members, including nurses, midwives and healthcare assistants, are beginning 2-week partial strike action today. Artificial intelligence is playing an increasing role in the retail sector. Most retailers now use AI, according to a survey of 250 Kiwi retail decision makers commissioned by software company Monday.com. However, most retailers don't trust AI to manage the whole customer experience. Larger operators see AI as helping them level the playing field with global giants like Amazon, Shein and Temu, but smaller operators have more reservations.
Herald NOW Sport, brought to you by Gold Sport.
New Zealand have won the opening one-day cricket international against the West Indies in Christchurch by 7 runs. Golfer Daniel Hillier has missed qualifying for the US PGA Tour by 2 spots after finishing in a share of 16th at 11 under par in the season finale at Dubai. England have reversed the scoreline from the opening netball test against New Zealand, winning 61-58 in the second to keep the 3-match series alive.
Couple of things from this capital gains tax poll this morning. It's a win for capital gains because the public doesn't hate the idea. There's no overwhelming rejection of it. So in that sense, it's a bit of a win. But a couple of interesting things have happened in this poll. A few details. More Aucklanders hate it than the rest of the country. 45% of Jaffers oppose it, only 32% support it. Now, Auckland holds the keys to the kingdom electorally for the party, whatever party wants to get into power. Labor found this out at the polls 2 years ago, remember, after the COVID lockdowns in Auckland and the cost of living, all that stuff. So if you're national, that is where you focus your anti-capital gains campaign. It's also interesting, and the Herald piece on this makes this point clear, in areas where people are doing well, where house prices are holding up, they like it more. In areas feeling poor because their house prices have fallen through the floor, like Auckland, they don't like it as much. So basically, you have a squeezed middle voter telling you they feel too poor to support another tax, and when prices pick up again, they don't want the government coming for them. Thank you very much. And so you end up with this fight between people who like the sound of an idea and people who feel it will threaten their chance of growing wealth or saving into retirement, their retirement plans. Then you've got to ask yourself, will the tax do what it says on the label? Will it pay for millions of extra doctors' visits as claimed? Where will these doctors magically appear from? Does this party have a good track record with delivering on promises, particularly if they tell you how much something costs, but not really how they'll do it? You could look at this poll and think, well, this is a win for capital gains. And it is, sort of. But there's plenty of fodder for an anti-capital gains campaign, which is no doubt being workshopped and cooked up by some ad agency in Grey Lynn as we speak on behalf of the National Party.
Herald Now weather, brought to you by You Do It Kitchens.
Good morning into a new week, and that means new weather, with the ridge of high pressure slowly moving to the east of us today and a new front approaching the South Island from the west. So that will bring strong winds and heavy rain from late tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. So not surprising to see the lower south cloudy today ahead of that system, and quite windy. North to northeasterlies will become gusty across the day, with rain for Milford Sound and showers for Queenstown. Now Canterbury takes the win here with fine skies and north or northeasterly strengthening, high of 26 degrees. There will be some more cloud elsewhere with showers from the afternoon for the west. Now not a bad day with mostly fine skies for the lower North Island. There will be cloud developing tonight though, with a strong northerly for Wellington after midday. It's looking fine in the east here, more cloudy further west with a chance of showers for Tauranga, Whakatane and Rotorua. Winds will be from the east or northeast with 24 the high for Gisborne. And apart from cloudy periods, maybe a few unlucky showers, the upper north is okay with east to northeast winds, high of 23 degrees for Auckland.
President Trump's doing a U-turn. He is backtracking. He's reversing the additional 15% tariff on food products, fruit, veggies, spices, coffee, and for us, most importantly, beef.
The foods, when we cut back a little bit on those tariffs, we'll get the price down, but they're not competitive in this country, like tomatoes and bananas and things. We don't make them in this country. So there's no protection of our industries or our food products.
Good news. Sima Karapiva is with us, Chief Executive from Meat Industry Association. Sima, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, did you have any idea this was coming?
Oh, look, this was very much a surprise, a pleasant surprise, I have to say, but somewhat in keeping with the way President Trump tends to roll out his trade policies. Regardless, it is much welcome news that he has rolled back some of those tariffs that were facing our beef exports.
Yeah, thank goodness. But all a bit random, isn't it, Sima?
Oh, well, yes, I think that is the correct word.
So how much were we spending, or how much revenue were we foregoing? What was the value of what we've paid so far, do you know?
Yeah, well, since the tariffs came on 1 August, we probably paid around $300 million worth of tariff costs. So that's not pocket change, that is significant dollars that we had to forego. But now it introduces a little bit more certainty for our exporters. They're better able to plan and put product into the US market, which is doing really well for us.
Where did we send, in lieu of getting stuff to the States, because there was a bit of a demand issue there, where did we send all of our, or the rest of the excess meat in the meantime?
Oh, look, we don't really have excess meat. We've got low stock numbers in New Zealand. And so every bit that we process, we do have a home for. But there was some diversion from the United States into other markets, and that is part of the way the industry operates. They're always looking for the highest returning market to extract the maximum economic value from the product that they do have to sell. So some of that product would have gone into the likes of Canada. The UK, for example, is doing really well for our beef exports, particularly on the back of the free trade agreement that we signed some years ago. And China's coming back on board now. So, there are some options, but it is good news that the tariffs have been rolled back. Long may that continue, because the US is a really significant, strategically important market for our beef. And it is paying the highest prices.
Yeah, as you say, the value, but also the fact that it's for beef exports from New Zealand. It's our biggest market. Appreciate your time this morning, Sima. Thanks for being with me. Sima Karapiva, who's Chief Executive at the Meat Industry Association. Time is 11 minutes after 7 now, 11 minutes after 7. Now, the Italians aren't happy. Why? Because pasta is a food that's not feeling the relief. Instead of facing a potential 107% tariff. The news follows the findings of an anti-dumping review by the US Commerce Department, which claims pasta imported from Italy is being sold below market prices. The US is Italy's second largest importer of pasta. Pasta industry leaders there say the move could devastate small producers.
Pasta's a pretty small sector to pick on. I mean, there's a lot bigger things to pick on. Pasta shouldn't be one of them. Not food. I mean, I don't know. Cameras. Pick on the cameras. You know, who knows? Real luxury items, but pasta, it's a basic food. Something's got to be sacred.
What's next, Rice? Now, if you've got anything to say about the topics we're discussing today, flick me an email, ryan@nzherald.co.nz, and we'll read your comments out online. A new Herald Kantar poll out this morning shows the public is evenly divided on Labor's proposed capital gains tax. Support and opposition is split right down the middle. 39% of respondents voting for and against the tax. Thomas Coughlin is the Herald's political editor, joins us this morning. Hey, Thomas.
Morning, Ryan.
I thought it was interesting. I read your piece about Auckland and the fact that there's a lot more people in Auckland who oppose it compared to the rest of the country.
Yeah, Auckland opposition is sitting up around 45% for opposition, and then people in favour of it's down at 32. Wellington is the other one where the margin's actually quite interestingly split. In Wellington, more people do support the tax than oppose it, but it's a small margin within the margin of error. So you wonder whether support or opposition to the capital gains tax has anything to do with the fact that you might live in a region that's been absolutely pummeled by the collapse in house prices that we've seen over the last sort of four or 5 years. In Auckland, obviously, Aucklanders are among the worst affected. Wellingtonians are, I think, the worst affected by that. So you wonder whether your likelihood to support a capital gains tax has some correlation to you living in an area where there are some capital gains to tax. People in Christchurch, South Island, obviously when you split out the poll to those regions, you do have a high margin of error, so just a wee bit of caution there. But people in Canterbury and the rest of the South Island seem pretty supportive of the tax, and there the property price crash has been much less severe.
So what does that tell us? That the wealthier you feel, the more generous you are with taxes?
Yeah, maybe. I sort of wonder. I mean, this is just purely guesswork. It doesn't really. There's no poll question on this, but I sort of wonder. For a long time, for decades, people have incorrectly argued that a capital gains tax is a tool for controlling house prices. When house prices were going up like crazy under the Key and Ardern governments, people talked about a capital gains tax being necessary to put a lid on house price growth, because that is what was required to really stop the insane rise in house prices we were seeing then. It's an incorrect economic theory. Australia has an out-of-control housing market. I think prices there are up about 10% a year, and they've had a capital gains tax for decades. But I wonder whether New Zealanders, having been told that for so long, residually sort of think that a capital gains tax is about controlling house prices. And maybe in Auckland and Wellington, you'd want to see a wee bit of house price growth so that it restores some of your value. before someone puts a tax on it.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, if you live in your own home, you probably won't be hit by the tax.
Yeah. Fascinating stuff, isn't it? And as the tax working group itself even said that it's not going to have an impact on house prices. So that is a bit of a fallacy, but yet it lives on, as you say. What's happening in Parliament this week, Thomas? What are we covering? What's going on? We've got the last week of the second to last sitting block of the year. Bit of a tongue twister. So we've got the government introducing its last sort of range of legislation before that last gasp. Interestingly, at the end of last week, Labour's Kieran McAnulty popped up and asked about the potential use of urgency. There's a lot of rumour around Parliament that we're going to spend a lot of time in urgency for the remainder of the year. The government's got a big fast-track amendment to its fast-track legislation, 100 tweaks to the fast-track legislation. They've said that needs to be done by Christmas. So you're going to see a very fast select committee on that. Obviously, that's quite controversial, the fast-track. And that will then return to the House and be passed by Christmas. So I'd say you're going to see quite a lot this week, and then after the recess, the last 3 weeks, rush through in urgency. All right, Thomas, appreciate that. Thank you. Interesting stuff from that poll too. Thomas Coughlin, the Herald's political editor. Time is 7:16 on your Monday morning. Coming up next, the town of Kawerau is buzzing after someone there grabbed a share of Saturday night's huge Lotto win. Remember, this is the town that is often described as the poorest in New Zealand, the lowest average annual income for a household, the highest proportion of people sole parent families, of families who are on benefits. All of these sort of bad statistics, well, they have a new Lotto winner in town. We'll speak to the supermarket next.
When building for investment, it's important to find a team that you can trust.
We decided to build the GJs because of the good quality that they always provide us.
They help us throughout the whole process of getting the resource consent to the building consent, and their contracts are very easy to understand. We have built 4 houses with GJ Gardeners, and it's just easier every time we work with them.
I'll definitely recommend GJs to all of my friends and family.
If you're thinking of building, choose the builder you'll want to build with time and time again.
I became a Herald journalist to get at the truth.
I became a Herald journalist to share not only what's going on, but also what it means.
To help people make up their own minds about the issues that matter.
To give a voice to every New Zealander and to expose the issues affecting our communities.
To make sure that people that are in positions of power are held to account.
To enact change that will ultimately benefit all of society.
To take our readers closer to the action.
I became a Herald journalist with the facts first. That's the reason we're here.
If it's news you can trust, it's news worth knowing. The New Zealand Herald.
You Do It delivers high-quality New Zealand-made flat-pack DIY kitchen cabinetry. With flexible widths at your fingertips, it makes designing easy. All at an affordable price because you order online and cut out the middleman. You can even upgrade your dream kitchen with You Do It stylish and clever options, like choosing wall cabinets with overhanging doors, or select from a range of pull-out storage solutions. Add premium soft-close drawers and ask to stretch the height, width or depth of your cabinets. Upgrade your kitchen today and head to newsroom.co.nz.
Term deposit rates are falling, but your returns shouldn't. Speak to a Foresight Bar investment advisor about alternative strategies, their benefits and risks, and how they can help you meet your investment goals. Foresight Bar, investment advice.
You're watching Herald Now, just gone 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. Right, Kawerau in the North Island, often described as New Zealand's poorest town. It has one of the lowest average incomes per person in the country. It often makes the news for all the wrong reasons, normally to do with gangs. The mongrel mob has dominated there for 30 years. But of course, there is much more to Kawerau, including a new Lotto winner, to the tune of around $18 million. This after the record-breaking Lotto draw on Saturday night. Joining us from the store that sold the lucky ticket is Claire Gallagher, who's with New World Kawerau, the owner there. Claire, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Do you know who the winner is yet?
No, not a clue. No idea. We're just hoping that it's somebody that was really deserving, who needs, needs this incredible win and has, I don't know, we're blown away. It's not often I'm lost for words, but I am today.
It's very exciting, Claire. What do you know? Is any rumours going around town about who might have won it? Who was selling the tickets? Who bought the tickets?
There was a lot of chatter for sure. There was a number of fireworks displays that apparently went off quite quickly after the draw, and some speculation around, did those people win? Was it them? And so many comments from customers walking in saying, oh, well, you know, if it's one of your team, they won't turn up tomorrow, or, you know, if we don't see you back, we know it was you, and it definitely wasn't us. So yeah, there's been a lot of speculation, but mainly just people really excited about some great news for Kawerau, and for us being in the media for something really fantastic, because whilst this is a moment in time, Kawerau is an amazing place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to sort of try and paint that picture as well, because it is...
Thank you, I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, it is a town of two tales. So, how many tickets do you generally sell, or do you know how many you did sell for this particular draw?
No, don't know yet. We're still waiting on those numbers. What we do know is it felt like half the town was lined up to buy their Lotto ticket on Saturday. Thursday was just as busy, some people trying to get in before the madness of Saturday, and the terminal ran right up until cut-off, which was pretty cool. And our team's a new team. Our kiosk is a new kiosk. We've only been open since July. So we're all very, very excited.
So today people will be coming in presumably to check their tickets. Do they just come in, line up in an orderly fashion, check your tickets like normal, and hopefully you'll find a winner today?
Yeah, hopefully they come in, although, you know, they may have been in touch with Lotto over the phone, we're not sure. But yeah, lining up orderly, all coming in, you know, running with the ticket madly in there, who knows? But certainly we're excited if they do come into store. But of course we'll treat them with the utmost of respect and, you know, be very discreet about things too.
Claire, appreciate your time this morning, and good luck finding that Lotto winner. Claire,
thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Claire Gallagher from New World Kawerau, the owner there, who sold the lucky winning ticket. And it was nice to see after someone, and you know, everyone looks at it and goes, oh, some Jaffa won again. But also having someone winning from Kawerau, very cool. 22 minutes after 7 now. The All Blacks were humbled by England yesterday morning. The Grand Slam dreams are up in smoke. So where does it leave this season? 100 Test All Black and rugby commentator Mills Muliaina joins me next. And then after 7:30 news, Garth Bray is here with Business Desk, thanks to our partners 2 Degrees. Back after this quick break.
Oh, no lemming tech solutions experts.
Here to set up your new smart TV.
Oh, goody. We're a family of 4, so we need it done perfect. Too high. Too low. Just right.
Of course, we can assess your Wi-Fi network and run a speed test. And now check out these features. This is how you get to streaming.
We love streams.
Nobody has supreme knowledge of home TV setup like Noel Leeming.
Here she is. How's the business going?
Good, actually. We just switched to 2 Degrees. Well, we tested the networks and couldn't see any difference. But 2 Degrees has the most satisfied customers. With Flex, we get instant control of phone plans, data usage, and cost center reporting. And they're the fastest growing business network.
Can I have what she's having?
Ready?
One Roof Property. Love where you live.
In 1985, my grandfather set out to make the world a better tea. That's why we grow our own, unlike other tea companies. Then pick the best leaves by hand, not machine, and pack it right here in Sri Lanka. But it's not just the taste that makes our tea better. 15% of our profit goes to humanity and to the elephants. As my grandfather said,
Do try it.
Welcome back. It is 7:24 on Herald Now. The ABs, of course, went down 33-19 at Twickenham over the weekend. That's despite leading the game at half-time. First time in 13 years that we have lost to England at Twickenham. Grand Slam hopes gone. Mills Muliaina is an All Blacks great and joins us this morning. Mills, good morning.
Morning, Ryan.
Are these guys not greats?
What is great? I mean, you've just sort of put it out there, but pretty disappointing, I suppose. There was big expectations on them to go over and hopefully get a Grand Slam, but it's no easy feat being able to produce that. But I suppose the frustrating part is a lot of the things that we've found over the weekend after that loss is things that have happened throughout the whole season, probably throughout the last couple of years. So, hence the reason there's a lot of frustration.
Yeah, including the discipline issues. Like, what's wrong?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, that yellow card really probably shouldn't have been a yellow card. They came out of the break. It didn't sort of help. That was the first penalty of the game the All Blacks conceded. And so, not the right decision. But again, discipline did play a big part. I think coming out of the break has been a really big factor for the All Blacks. We've seen that against the Springboks. Stuff that we've seen and haven't really been fixed. And I guess right now they'll be licking their wounds, and you've got to give credit to the English side. It sucks losing against the English. Don't get me wrong, especially in Twickenham. But they've got to lick their wounds and get back on the horse again and go to Cardiff and hopefully win that game.
Does the Razor question pop up again now?
Well,
or are we too quick to ask that question?
Well, I don't know. I don't think we are. I think he's actually had a really good ride. He lost 4 tests last year, 3 now. But it's probably the way that we've lost. And you've got to also remember, 19 of those guys that have been in this squad were featured in the Rugby World Cup 2 years ago. So he hasn't got an inexperienced side. He's got a side that sort of seems like they're not really on the same page, particularly in key moments of the game. They come out of the break, they look really fatigued. And when they're put under pressure, they haven't really responded. That's when teams have been able to leak points. England, on the other hand, they came out and they were put under the pump. The All Blacks went up 12-0, but they fought their way back. They had a plan, started collecting points through George Ford's drop goals, and then they're right back in the game. And that's those moments that typically All Blacks you don't let off. You don't give moments back to opposition teams because they punish you, and that's exactly what happened over the weekend.
Is there anyone out there who could do a better job than Razor?
Look, it's easy to jump the gun right now, right? Because and that's the expectation we should have in our we have over the years about the All Black coaches. We've got a great team. There's no doubt in my mind that we've got the players to be able to do it. It's what's ever going on inside the camp where they're not quite connecting, not quite sort of understanding what to do when they are winning big moments and the momentum and keeping that momentum going, but also when they're really under pressure. And they're heavily resourced in terms of the mental side of it. So there's just something that's just not clicking. To answer your question,
because you're dancing around it, Mel.
No, I am.
Give it to me straight.
But
do you want to
we've
get rid of him or not?
We've got some. Not yet.
Not yet.
I think there's there's a bit of leeway at the moment. But we've got some big test matches next year. The Rugby World Cup isn't too far away. A couple of years' time, we've got a big South African tour next year. And so you've got to get to a point where if they're not producing results,
you've got to be brutal.
Well, this is that job is brutal. When you lose, look at what we are at the moment. We're not quite mourning like we are. We're probably a little bit frustrated and a little bit grumpy this morning, but that's part and parcel of the job. Hence the reason I'd never be a coach, mate.
No, exactly. It's the same reason I'd never be a politician.
I'd agree with you, mate. Far out.
Because Luxon's got the same problem, doesn't it? I mean, there's a good team there. There's things that are happening, but it's like. It is the one at the top the problem,
Well, exactly, mate. It's one of those things. There's similarities in that, isn't it? Politics and the All Black coaching role, and they often say that the All Black team is not going so well, and often doesn't reflect very well when you're in charge at the higher level.
No,
so
true.
Hopefully they get back on the horse and win this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mills, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Likewise.
Mills Muliaina with us, former All Black, of course, 29 minutes after 7 on Herald Now. Back to Trump for a very quick second. He's doubling down on his threats to sue the BBC. This is over the Panorama program. He says their apology didn't go far enough. So they said sorry, and he says, nah, I'm still suing you for quite a lot of money.
Well, we'll sue them. We'll sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion, probably sometime next week.
So you're ready to take...
Well, I think I have to do it. I mean, they've even admitted that they cheated.
Honestly, it's absolutely random. Yeah, I'll sue them for $1 billion, maybe $8 billion. Quite a big difference between those two numbers. And then with the tariffs, you know, 1 minute they're on, the next minute it's, oh no, kiwi fruit's off, meat's off. Honestly, make up your mind. 7:30, you're on Herald Now.
Herald Now News, powered by News Talk ZB.
Trade Minister Todd McClay says he'll continue to make the case for removing more tariffs on more New Zealand products. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order reducing tariffs on a wide range of food imports. They include New Zealand beef, prepared meats, offal, kiwi fruit, berries, avocados and certain fresh fruit. Todd McClay says exports will now be able to recover to pre-tariff levels, but tariffs on products like lamb should also be lowered too. The country appears to be split down the middle on its stance on a capital gains tax. The New Zealand Herald Kantar poll shows a dead heat between supporters and opponents of Labour's capital gains tax, with both sides having 39% of respondents behind them. All but one of the country's regions, Auckland, were generally in support of the policy. Concern New Zealand's facing a scam epidemic, with a record $3 billion lost over the last year. The latest State of Scams in New Zealand report finds 23% of Kiwis have lost money to scammers, with the average victim losing more than $3,000. It notes Gmail and Facebook are the top platforms scammers are using, with shopping scams the most common. Police have confirmed 4 people died in a house fire involving children in Manawatu, Sanson, with 1 body still not found. Emergency services were called to the property southwest of the town on State Highway 1 about 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. The bodies of 2 children and an adult were recovered from the scene yesterday. Police say investigators will focus on finding and recovering the 3rd child today and will complete a thorough scene examination. They say they aren't seeking anyone in relation to the fire. Health authorities are working to limit the spread of a superbug at Christchurch Hospital. There are 2 outbreaks of antibiotic-resistant superbug, vancomycin-resistant enterococci or VRE at the hospital. Health NZ's Dr Sarah Berger says there's currently fewer than 10 patients in Christchurch Hospital with VRE, but the outbreak is linked to a larger cluster in Auckland. Disappointment from Health New Zealand over the nurses' organisation's decision to strike during mediated bargaining. More than 37,000 members, including nurses, midwives and healthcare assistants, are beginning 2-week partial strike action today. Artificial intelligence is playing an increasing role in the retail sector. Most retailers now use AI, according to a survey of 250 Kiwi retail decision makers commissioned by software company Monday.com. However, most retailers don't trust AI to manage the whole customer experience. Larger operators see AI as helping them level the playing field with global giants like Amazon, Shein and Temu, but smaller operators have more reservations.
Herald Now Sport, brought to you by Gold Sport.
New Zealand have won the opening one-day cricket international against the West Indies in Christchurch by 7 runs. Golfer Daniel Hillier has missed qualifying for the US PGA Tour by 2 spots after finishing in a share of 16th at 11 under par in the season finale at Dubai. England have reversed the scoreline from the opening netball test against New Zealand, winning 61-58 in the second to keep the 3-match series alive.
We'll get to Garth Bray with business in just a second. Very quickly for you, some of your feedback this morning on our YouTube channel. Good morning to you all watching. Nice to have you. Carl says Razor ought to have taken off that one-eyed patch when he selected Barrett as captain. That was the worst decision ever. Another says Trump needs to be removed from office. That's from Jason this morning. Well, the American people can do that if they want to, and they may yet further restrict him, put a few hands behind his back come midterms next year. That's his next big electoral test over in America. You can email us this morning too, ryan@nzherald.co.nz. We would love to hear from you. The US, I don't know whether you caught up with this over the weekend, but the US is doing a nuclear submarine deal with the Koreans, and they're going to be built, these nuclear submarine ships will be built in America by a South Korean shipyard, and they're attack submarines. So there are only a few countries in the world who have nuclear-powered attack submarines currently. South Korea, at the moment, isn't one of them. They use diesel-powered, and the problem with that is you have to stop and refuel. So the nuclear ones can go way further, way faster underwater, and are therefore more lethal. And the reason they're doing all of this, of course, is because of Kim Jong-un and North Korea. And the idea, this is according to one off-the-record Army general, he says the idea with these stealthier nuclear submarines in the hands of South Korea, that they want to, quote, keep Kim Jong-un awake at night. That's the plan, 25 away from 8.
Herald Now weather, brought to you by You Do It Kitchens.
Good morning into a new week, and that means new weather, with the ridge of high pressure slowly moving to the east of us today and a new front approaching the South Island from the west. So that will bring strong winds and heavy rain from late tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. So not surprising to see the lower south cloudy today ahead of that system, and quite windy. North to nor'easterlies will become gusty across the day, with rain for Milford Sound and showers for Queenstown. Now Canterbury takes the win here, with fine skies and north or nor'easterly strengthening, high of 26 degrees. There will be some more cloud elsewhere, with showers from the afternoon for the west. Now not a bad day, with mostly fine skies for the lower North Island. There will be cloud developing tonight though, with a strong northerly for Wellington after midday. It's looking fine in the east here, more cloudy further west, with a chance of showers for Tauranga, Whakatane and Rotorua. Winds will be from the east or nor'east, with 24 the high for Gisborne. And apart from cloudy periods, maybe a few unlucky showers, the upper north is okay, with east to nor'east winds, high of 23 degrees for Auckland.
Right, it's time for business with our partners 2 Degrees. Data on our services industry is out later today. Will it just fan the flames that we've seen from manufacturing? Garth Bray joining us, Business Desk. Garth, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
So the PMI and the PSI, they're both very important indicators for us. We had manufacturing on Friday.
Yeah, and that was up. And it was sort of up on on gains that it made previously. Anything over 50 in that index means that it's expanding, and it had already tipped over into the 50 plus territory last month, and it was 51.4. So a little bit of growth there.
Great.
And also particularly in the orders area, the orders were really up. In fact, 4 out of the 5 categories they measure, because they look at other things like finished stocks and employment, they were all expanding. The employment part wasn't, but I mean, we expect, you want to...
That lags.
Yeah.
Overall, that is good. Manufacturing, good Friday.
Good news.
And going in the right direction.
Wonderful.
Because for ages, we were below 50, which means you're in reverse.
Yeah. And this is good. So we'll wait and see. I mean, obviously, services, much bigger impact on the economy, dropping out later today. You'd hope to see a bit of growth there.
Services is like 70% of our economy, eh?
Yeah.
So we want this number to be going well. That's coming out this morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. More businesses use private health insurance now as sort of a lure.
Yeah. This is just something we've picked up on today. Obviously, as the costs are rising, I think the inflation for, way ahead of general inflation, 7 to 14% in the last year, the jump in sort of medical costs. And so you're seeing more employers picking up on these group health schemes, which is basically where they subsidise the cost of getting into a private healthcare or, Southern Cross or anywhere. They've all bumped up premiums, sort of 21%, I think, across the board from Southern Cross, and about 17 to 40%. So it's obviously quite expensive to get private cover still in this country. And but what they are arguing for is a tax break. The Financial Services Council says, look, firms that offer this get stung with a fringe benefit tax. They want to try and broaden it all out. They're saying this is increasingly kind of a nice carrot for people from countries where the healthcare system is a little bit more like where we're heading rather than what we've had, which is more expensive with longer wait lists and more private.
So do we get free health? We don't get free health insurance for working here, eh?
How do you make
like NZME? They don't offer a free or subsidised. Because at my previous job, because it was American owned, we all got private health insurance free as part of our contracts, even though we don't really need it. But that was sort of part of the thing that they offered. So more people doing that.
Lots of different ways to skin it. I mean, I think about Australia where they actually run it the other way around. They tax you more if you don't have private health cover and you earn more than, I think, 97 grand a year or something. So they've got a different kind of way of weighting it. But there are a lot of different ways to try and work it out so they can spread the load.
And now Bitcoin. People using Bitcoin might find themselves in a bit of a pickle over tax.
Yeah, right, because people possibly think of cryptocurrency as a currency, but the way it's treated from tax purposes, it's like an asset. It's like buying or selling a house or a chair or whatever. And if you're buying and selling something for in the expectation of a benefit there, you'll get stung with a CGT. So what this breaks down to is if you're using Bitcoin for, say, a coffee, you pay $6 for your coffee, you've got a tax liability or possibly a loss, depending on whether that Bitcoin went up or down in value between when you bought it and when you sold it. So it's not really like money. I know, complicated. The Bitcoin industry, it's after a tax break as well. It says we need to have some sort of system which means if you're spending less than $1,000 worth of it, so you're just buying a coffee or buying clothes or whatever with this cryptocurrency, you don't have to account for that. Otherwise, it's bewildering. They reckon something like 70% of people that use Bitcoin for purchases, admittedly not a huge number of people probably in this country, are non-compliant on their tax on this.
But why is Bitcoin different from? I mean, it's
because you don't. I mean, like if you spend $6 that you earned last week, you don't get charged on the change in the value of that money over time because it's currency. But because Bitcoin you're buying essentially a crypto asset, it's saying, well, the value of that asset might have changed in that time. So you're effectively, it's like you're selling something that's appreciated in value. You've got to pay a CGT on that.
Is it?
Yeah.
In New Zealand? Why just that though? I mean,
well,
why not?
And a range of other, because it's like anything that you buy or sell. It's like the bright line test on houses and so on. So you do pay for it. Yeah. So they're basically after a CGT exemption to try and make this happen.
Okay. All right, Garth, interesting stuff. Thank you. Garth Bray from Business Test. Thanks to our partners, 2 Degrees. Right, it is 19 minutes away from 8. Health workers and patients at Christchurch Hospital on high alert this morning after a superbug on site. The bacterial infection VRE is considered a superbug because it's antibiotic resistant and more difficult to treat. ZB's South Island News Director Claire Sherwood with us live. Claire, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you know about this bug?
Yeah, VRE, vancomycin-resistant enterococci is what it's called, Ryan. This is a superbug, as you say. For people who don't know what a superbug is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a bug that is really difficult to treat, antibiotic resistant, meaning that obviously the bug itself is really difficult to treat, but the health workers that I've spoken to say that it also makes it really difficult for other conditions to be treated as well, and obviously limits the contact that that person may be able to have with loved ones while they are in hospital, and also what medical professionals and medical teams can come and go and where in the hospital they can be treated. Health NZ has confirmed this after we were tipped off by members of staff at Christchurch Hospital who say that they have been put through some special briefings around hygiene, cleaning practices, deep cleans of particular wards, and then some signage started popping up on the walls and corridors, particularly around the respiratory wards of Christchurch Hospital. Health NZ's Dr. Sarah Berger has now come through and said, yes, there are what they consider 2 small outbreaks of VRE at Christchurch Hospital. They're confined to one ward or one area of the hospital for now. But the concern really is that there is a link to this larger cluster in Auckland. What Auckland Hospital that relates to, we're not entirely aware of just yet. We're waiting on more confirmation from Health NZ. But effectively at the moment, they're saying things are under control. They've got usual infection control practices in place. Deep cleans of wards are happening. Plus, of course, the likes of masks and extra, PPE gear being given out to staff. That goes all the way down to cleaners and those who are serving food to patients. But for now, very much health authorities on alert about what, if anything, could happen with this superbug spreading.
Oh, no, terrible, Claire. What's the name of it again?
vancomycin-resistant enterococci.
Just sounds terrible. And what, is it deadly? Do people dying from this? Like, is it bad?
We have had VRE outbreaks in New Zealand before, one back in about 2014. I found some other reporting back to 2007, and there have been deaths linked to VRE. The thing about it, as I say, is it may not necessarily be the VRE or the respiratory bug itself that ends up, turning fatal for people. It can be the combination, though, of other things. Or, of course, while their immunity is compromised by a bug like this, then other health concerns, whether underlying or not, can surface and can ultimately become fatal. So it is a real concern. We do need to get control of this. The likes of Michael Baker says that it's a global problem. It's something that is happening across the world. There's these antibiotic-resistant bugs. But this, of course, is a sign that it's here in New Zealand and it's at both ends of the country.
All right, Claire, thank you for that. Claire Sherwood from News Talk ZB. It is 16 minutes away from 8. Coming up after the 8 o'clock news, the Governor-General is with us live from Antarctica to explain, well, what she's doing there. Next, though, it's, don't call them top, it's opportunity party here, the new leader, with the details of their new tax plan next.
You Do It DIY can make your new dream kitchen a reality. As a trusted Kiwi manufacturer for 44 years, You Do It has made it easy to design, order and assemble your own dream kitchen, offering a range of colour options and flexible sizing. With excellent online support, our customers all agree that You Do It makes DIY easy, delivering superb quality at a great price. Get your project started today at newsroom.co.nz.
We have completed 4 builds with GJ. Every time we want to think of building, we always go back to GJ.
It's a really good experience throughout the whole process.
They deliver what they promise on, and it feels like working with a family member. It's very easy and trustworthy to work with GJ.
Stop paying the waiting tax. The money you could miss out on by delaying the start of your investment journey. Up your tempo with Tempo, the guided investment app that helps you get started. Don't delay because you don't think you have enough time, money, or know-how. All you need is a goal, and our guidance will help with the rest. Plus, this month, get a guaranteed $10 Kickstarter and the chance to win $1,000. Download Tempo now.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Kaylee Bell, Jelly Roll, Megan Moroney, Chris Stapleton. All the country stars have come to play on the all-new iHeart Country NZ. Your new home for country is iHeart Country NZ.
Welcome back. It is 13 minutes away from 8 o'clock. We'll get to our sport panel before 8 o'clock this morning. Lots more to come. Zoe Wallace has markets as well. First, the Opportunities Party top has had a bit of a rebrand ahead of the 2026 election, now to be known simply as Opportunity, because there's only one. The refresh comes complete with a new leader, Kawerau Wong, who is joining us and joined the party after a recruitment process which included advertising the position on Seek. Kawerau Wong is with me this morning, the Opportunity Party leader. Good morning.
Good morning.
So top is wrong. We've got to ditch top.
It's opportunity.
Opportunity, okay. And just the one, not opportunities.
Well, it is the time for New Zealand to grab its opportunity. So yeah, we think it is important that it is just the one.
All right, fair enough. I had a look at the gist of your rebrand. And one of the problems I thought you might run into is, you're talking about tax reform, you're talking about citizens' assemblies, all these things.
Yep.
Is that it's a lot of the stuff that the Greens are also talking about.
Well, I think if you look at all of our policies on our website, and we've kind of got our policy framework up there, there's a lot of stuff that people on the right end of the spectrum will really resonate with. We're just as much about, not having wasteful spending and making sure we get value for money, for the taxpayer dollar, as we are about looking after the environment. And actually, we think looking after our natural resources is the way that we're going to grow our economy and actually have long-term prosperity of more affordable lives for Kiwis in the long run.
Are you like all the good bits of the Green Party and none of the bad?
I think we're all the best parts of all the parties.
Okay, that's very diplomatic. What about, so Hipkins comes to you, let's assume you get over 5%, all that stuff, blah, blah. Hipkins come to you and Luxon comes to you and they both want you. Who do you go with?
I think we've got to have the conversation with both. We've got different ways to hold each side accountable. So it's going to depend on what they bring to the table.
So it's a genuine negotiation with you. It's not, you're not more, you don't lean one way more than the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what's unique about us as a minor party is we're not sticking our, flag to one side or the other. We genuinely want to work with everyone around the table.
How does your land value tax work? Because it's not going to tax me when I sell something. It's actually going to tax me through the year.
Yeah, so I think what's important is Kiwis are really ready for a conversation about our relationship with property. We're clearly struggling with house prices becoming completely out of reach for, my kids and the next generation. And a land value tax we think is the most effective way to solve that because it prevents, it disincentivises holding on to property unnecessarily, land banking or building large property portfolios and locking all of our money up in property. We don't want to disincentivise growth and wealth, but we think there are so many other ways for Kiwis to make money. And a land value tax is actually a lot simpler and more straightforward than something like a capital gains tax.
Because the difference between the two, because I was talking to Thomas Colgan this morning from the Herald about the capital gains tax and this idea that a capital gains tax will somehow make property prices cheaper. It won't.
No.
It's bullshit.
Yes.
So your one is, you're saying this is how you do it. If you want to bring prices down, you actually need to tax them annually.
Yes, yeah. So
which I don't like because I own property,
Yep.
right? But for someone who doesn't, is the way that you go about it.
I think even for people that own property, I mean, I bought a house in the recent housing boom and I've got a huge mortgage that relies on two incomes to pay our mortgage fees. I don't really want to lose equity in my home, but at the same time, I want my kids to be able to afford a house. And our land value tax is part of a tax package in which people also will receive a citizen's income.
See, I don't have kids, so I don't care about the next generation.
But you'll get a citizen's income regardless,
okay,
so you'll be fine.
But none of the detail on these policies will be coming till what, next year?
Early next year.
Okay, so we have to trust you in the meantime.
And you can grill me early next year.
And so what did you do before this? Because there's a lot of leaders in politics these days who have frankly never done anything with their lives. What have you done?
So I have spent the last 15 years working in business, trying to help businesses grow and succeed, but also look after the environment and communities at the same time. And that's not always been easy. It's about championing a new way to approach business, not just focusing on profit, but what good do you deliver to society as well? And I think that is the kind of thinking we need at a macro level for our economy in New Zealand at large.
So what did you do at KPMG? What specifically?
Working with big corporates on their sustainability journey, climate resilience, that kind of thing.
Okay. So would you be comfortable running a party, comfortable in a ministerial job?
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of similarities from my previous role, dealing with a lot of different perspectives, trying to make the business case for investment in a particular avenue that I think are going to be really valuable.
All right. Kule, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks, Ryan.
That is Kule Wong, who's leader of Opportunity Party. 8 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Time now to take a look at the markets, thanks to our partners Forsyth Barr. Zoe Wallace, investment advisor, is with us this morning. Zoe, good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Great to have you. So a lot going on in the US, as you know. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, but we've got the return from the shutdown. How's that impacting things?
We do indeed. Finally, the US government has reopened after its longest shutdown in history, in fact. So we are now going to start seeing some of the economic data out that markets have been really waiting for and operating in a bit of a vacuum of. So this week we do get the September payrolls data, but also the US Bureau of Statistics says we may never actually even get some of the October things like inflation reports and jobs reports. So as we go into the Fed meeting in December, they are still operating in a bit of a data vacuum, and that may be enough to cause them to leave interest rates on hold.
And we've got food exempt from tariffs. I mean, one day it's one thing, the next day it's another. Today it's beef and fruit, which we will benefit from most.
Yeah, look, I think the Trump administration have realised that consumers are starting to feel the side effects of higher prices for a lot of imported goods, including a range of food products, including beef, bananas, coffee being another one in the spotlight at the moment. So look, I think that'll be a net positive both for the US and for New Zealand exporters to the sector. However, the bigger driver has really been the fact that you've actually seen just beef shortages in the US, which have been driving prices up quite significantly as well. So these tariffs have come at a time when actually you've already got an acute supply shortage, and that's been really driving the demand for offshore exports.
NVIDIA, we got a result out this week, obviously biggest company in the world by market cap and leads all the, particularly the tech stocks over in the US. What are we expecting here?
Yeah, so look, NVIDIA really is now viewed as the bellwether of sort of the AI boom. So looking to their results this week, we are very much expecting that the market will take that as a bit of a bellwether of how the AI industry as a whole is going. And as you alluded to over the last few weeks, we've seen a little bit more skepticism come into play, perhaps around the AI sector and just how much money is going into these firms. And obviously that impacts NVIDIA in terms of demand for chip products and just about, actually getting the return on the investment of the money being spent at the moment. So how much demand we're still seeing for NVIDIA's products will definitely be quite a crucial point for markets this week.
And finally this morning, New Zealand reporting season is ramping up here. What's on the cards for the week ahead, Zoe?
Yep. Busy week local reporting season. So while we've been talking about offshore, it's actually really action-packed this week for local company names reporting, particularly in the sort of the property and the REIT sector. So some of those big names include Investor, Argosy, we've got Oceania Healthcare out later this week as well, Radius Care and Asset Plus and Goodman. So a big range of companies out. Look, we are starting to feel a bit more positive on the overall New Zealand market, and what we're seeing from companies to date is that we are signs that we are approaching the cyclical turning point we've been talking about for quite some time. The property sector has been doing particularly well already over the last 6 months, but we do expect there's a bit more tailwind and a bit more momentum to come through yet.
Zoe, great to hear you say those words. As always, Zoe Wallace, Investment Advisor at Forsyth Bar. Thanks to our partners, Forsyth Bar. Time now is 4 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Let's get to sport with the boys. They're here, Cam McMillan and Chris Reeve from the Herald. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Chris, where are your glasses?
Yeah, we were in a little bit of a rush to get over here, so I left them on the desk.
We're both wearing black, though. We're here for a funeral, the All Blacks funeral.
I know, it's very sad.
Soldier on.
Yeah, you just look so different, that's all. I had to mention it. So Mills Morningonian was here on the show earlier, and he was saying we don't need a drop raiser yet, but it's sort of on the cards, like it's getting to that point.
Well, if we don't, yeah, I mean, it would be a harsh call to do it now, but then again, if they don't do it now, they can't do it next year, because what if the All Blacks lose their 4 tests against South Africa? Then it's going to look even worse going into a Rugby World Cup. Yeah, that's kind of worst case scenario. But yeah, they didn't get the Grand Slam win, and especially at Twickenham, it sucks losing to England at Twickenham. But it's just the way they played. There's just no structure. You could clearly see England had a game plan. They were going to kick it up high, win the ball and make the most of the chances they got. We just kept throwing it around, and there was some odd decisions. There were 2 decisions where they didn't kick for the corner and took a tap, which is, I don't know whether that was a Razor thing or Scott Barrett deciding at the time. But yeah, just too many errors and too many mistakes, especially from the veteran players who expect them to play the best. But yeah, disappointing.
Chris, did you have your glasses while watching the...
I did.
Good, okay. All right, so what did you think?
Yeah, very much the same. I thought they played pretty solid in the first half. They built a lead, and England came back with a couple of drop goals late. But, going in with a halftime lead, I thought, things were looking pretty good. And then it just changed very quickly in the second half. And like Cam said, it was just a very strange sort of performance. Not a lot of, intent with some of those decisions. Some really bad mistakes, like missing the corner from penalties and that sort of thing. They might have had a couple of chances where they could have put more points on the board from the tee and chose not to. But yeah, it was just one of those ones where a couple of decisions probably changed the overall play.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like we're muddling through and we're just kind of hoping that something happens and changes before the World Cup.
Yeah, and there will be one change. Richie Mo'unga will be arriving next year, so we'll probably see him at 10. I did the play ratings and I gave Beauden Barrett a 3. But I don't know if that's him or whether that is the attacking plan. Like, they've got Jason Holland, who is the attacking coach. He's leaving at the end of the year. I don't even know if he's making the calls now. It's bizarre that he's going to stay there to the end of the year and they don't have a replacement yet. So I don't know what structure they've got at the moment, whether that falls on Boda Barrett, whether it's his fault or he's just following orders. But I just don't look a good attacking team at all.
All a bit random. Chris, what about the Silver Ferns? So Silver Ferns beat England yesterday and then lost the second test this morning.
Yeah, by the same score, funnily enough, 61-58. Yesterday, very, very good defensive lead today. Not quite as effective there, and again, just too many errors this morning, but I think they'll be pretty happy with how things have gone so far. That was their first loss of the tour, pretty competitive game. They were up at half-time, just kind of like the All Blacks, had a bit of a third quarter slump and let it get away from them, ended up losing by a couple, but things are in a pretty good spot from where they might have been sort of a few months ago.
Especially all things considered about what's been going on behind
absolutely.
the scenes. And we've got the decider Thursday, is that right?
Wednesday, I thought.
Wednesday.
You could be right.
Yeah. Maybe Wednesday their time, Thursday
might have got
our
my time differences confused.
And what are we expecting?
Oh, more of the same. I think it'll be really good to have, a third game of the series with plenty on the line.
Great. Now, Hayden Wild in Dubai, this is so weird. Like, whose fault is it? Because lots of people were texting into ZB this morning saying, no, it's his fault, not the official's fault that he did an extra 8Ks.
I just don't understand. So he's in a leading group on the bike. They're coming into transition where you change from the bike to the run. They don't know that this is their last lap. There's no sign. There must be signage in these events now. Like, how hard is it to have someone standing there saying, waving to them, white flag, whatever, last lap coming this way? It can't surely be up to them to think, okay, well, now I've done 2 laps around, I've got to do 1 more, like you're exhausted already. How are you meant to keep track of all that? A lot of them are saying they don't wear watches to do that because they don't want to. So it shouldn't be their job. I think if you're going to run in a professional event like this, then have some plan to tell them. And poor Hayden Wild went for another 8K on his bike ride, and I think he still finished 8th place or something.
Still finished
Pretty
8th.
impressive effort.
But it stops because he was on a winning streak, wasn't he, with the world. So you're on this winning streak, and then even just mentally to come 8th, even though it's, you did an extra 8Ks, it's not great, is it?
Yeah, and there was great scenes of him running, arguing with other guys as they were going past. They're like, how many laps have you done? And then some of the runners finished. They had 1 lap to go and they finished. It was absolute chaos. So I feel for him. Yeah,
very weird. Yeah. And also, it's the money as well, Chris, because it's like tens of thousands of dollars that they can miss out on by missing a place. Now, very quickly, cricket. Chris, what's going on with the cricket?
The Black Caps won again yesterday. They're kind of sweating on Daryl Mitchell at the moment. He was player of the game, had put up a ton, I think 119 off 118 balls, something like that. But yeah, now he's sort of got a hint of a groin injury, so we'll wait and see how he is for the next one.
How did he get his groin injury?
Yeah, I think just during the innings. I think he didn't come out into the field. And I think now's the time just to shut him down. Let's focus on the test matches that are coming up in another week. This is just a one-day series. There's nothing really important about it. Well, the tests are more important with World Test Championship points. So, yeah, give him a rest. He's done enough already this summer.
Spirit of cricket now.
The spirit of cricket.
Yeah, one days don't matter. Test and T20.
Yeah, great. I love the honesty. Good, guys. Thank you. That is Cam and Chris from the Herald for our sports panel today. It is 2 after 8. You're watching Herald Now. Good morning, I'm Ryan Bridge. It's Monday the 17th of November. On the show this hour, NetSafe's released its annual State of Scams in New Zealand report this morning, and it's not great news. The scammers are way ahead and we're struggling to catch up. They're here with us. Trump's dumped the beef tariffs, which is great news for us since America's our biggest market. Trade Minister Todd McClay is with me live from India. And the Governor-General, Dame Cindy Kawerau, is in Antarctica, where Scott Base is undergoing a $400 million renovation. Dame Cindy joins us live. All that ahead, plus Neva with news headlines.
Herald Now News, powered by News Talk ZB.
Trade Minister Todd McClay says he'll continue to make the case for removing more tariffs on more New Zealand products. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order reducing tariffs on a wide range of food imports. They include New Zealand beef, prepared meats, offal, kiwi fruit, berries, avocados and certain fresh fruit. Todd McClay says exports will now be able to recover to pre-tariff levels, but tariffs on products like lamb should also be lowered too. The country appears to be split down the middle on its stance on a capital gains tax. The New Zealand Herald Kantar poll shows a dead heat between supporters and opponents of Labour's capital gains tax, with both sides having 39% of respondents behind them. All but one of the country's regions, Auckland, were generally in support of the policy. Concern New Zealand's facing a scam epidemic with a record $3 billion lost over the last year. The latest State of Scams in New Zealand report finds 23% of Kiwis have lost money to scammers, with the average victim losing more than $3,000. It notes Gmail and Facebook are the top platforms scammers are using, with shopping scams the most common. Police have confirmed 4 people died in a house fire involving children in Manawatu, Sanson, with 1 body still not found. Emergency services were called to the property southwest of the town on State Highway 1 about 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. The bodies of 2 children and an adult were recovered from the scene yesterday. Police say investigators will focus on finding and recovering the 3rd child today and will complete a thorough scene examination. They say they aren't seeking anyone in relation to the fire. Health authorities are working to limit the spread of a superbug at Christchurch Hospital. There are 2 outbreaks of antibiotic-resistant superbug, vancomycin-resistant enterococci or VRE at the hospital. Health NZ's Dr Sarah Berger says there's currently fewer than 10 patients in Christchurch Hospital with VRE, but the outbreak is linked to a larger cluster in Auckland. Disappointment from Health New Zealand over the nurses' organisation's decision to strike during mediated bargaining. More than 37,000 members, including nurses, midwives and healthcare assistants, are beginning 2-week partial strike action today. Artificial intelligence is playing an increasing role in the retail sector. Most retailers now use AI, according to a survey of 250 Kiwi retail decision makers commissioned by software company Monday.com. However, most retailers don't trust AI to manage the whole customer experience. Larger operators see AI as helping them level the playing field with global giants like Amazon, Shein and Temu, but smaller operators have more reservations.
Herald NOW Sport, brought to you by Gold Sport.
New Zealand have won the opening one-day cricket international against the West Indies in Christchurch by 7 runs. Golfer Daniel Hillier has missed qualifying for the US PGA Tour by 2 spots after finishing in a share of 16th at 11 under par in the season finale at Dubai. England have reversed the scoreline from the opening netball test against New Zealand, winning 61-58 in the second to keep the 3-match series alive.
You're watching Herald Now this morning, just gone 6 minutes after 8. It's crazy how little attention we have to pay to illegal migration in this country compared to the rest of the world. We've got the tyranny of distance, which is apparently a bad thing, but actually it's kind of great. If you look at some of the policies they're having to enact around the world. So in the UK, Starmer and Labour, this is happening tonight our time, they're going all hardline on it. Farage basically is pushing them to the right on migration. They're cancelling benefits, they're kicking them out to 3rd countries, big changes coming there. Look at most of Europe, look at America, look at Albanese in Australia. And it's parties on the left and the right which are getting tough on migration, which tells you that there is an actual problem, not a perception of a problem. Albo's given officials there more power to boot refugees out to 3rd countries. Look at places like Chile even, in South America, where Trump says all of the bad stuff is coming from. Well, they're having problems there too. They're voting for a new president at the moment. What's the big issue there? The one everyone's worried about? Gang crime. Who do they blame? Illegal migrants from Venezuela, which is falling apart. Doesn't matter where you go in the world, except New Zealand and the South Pacific, it seems, illegal migration is the #1 or #2 issue alongside the economy. And it wouldn't even, if you think about what we vote on here in New Zealand, that wouldn't even register. Thank you, Ocean.
Herald Now Weather, brought to you by You Do It Kitchens.
Good morning. Into a new week, and that means new weather, with the ridge of high pressure slowly moving to the east of us today and a new front approaching the South Island from the west. So that will bring strong winds and heavy rain from late tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. So not surprising to see the lower south cloudy today ahead of that system, and quite windy. North to nor'easterlies will become gusty across the day, with rain for Milford Sound and showers for Queenstown. Now Canterbury takes the win here with fine skies and north or nor'easterly strengthening, high of 26 degrees. There will be some more cloud elsewhere with showers from the afternoon for the west. Now not a bad day with mostly fine skies for the lower North Island. There will be cloud developing tonight though, with a strong northerly for Wellington after midday. It's looking fine in the east here, more cloudy further west with a chance of showers for Tauranga, Whakatane and Rotorua. Winds will be from the east or nor'east with 24 the high for Gisborne. And apart from cloudy periods, maybe a few unlucky showers, the upper north is okay with east to nor'east winds, high of 23 degrees for Auckland.
You're watching Herald Now this morning. Great to have your company. And it's not often we say this on this program, but we're crossing live to Antarctica to speak with the Governor-General. Dame Cindy Keddo is currently on the ice with Kiwis at Scott Base. Her Excellency, Dame Cindy, joins me now. Good morning.
Atamaria, nice to meet you, Ryan. And this is Professor Jordi Hendricks, who is the Chief Executive of Antarctica, New Zealand. But he's going to keep quiet while we chat and then add if we get stuck.
Okay. You've got a scientific interpreter, Dame Cindy. Hey, let's...
Cover all bases.
Okay, let's start with what it's like there. How are you enjoying the ice?
Well, it's amazing here. I mean, it really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's over 20 years since the last Governor-General came down. And remember, we're Governor-General also of the Ross dependency, not just New Zealand and territories. So it's really important that we are coming down right at this moment. I was really interested in listening to both the weather forecast, a good day outside, minus 10 degrees, sun shining. But, you know, importantly, there is work going on here that in many cases is looking at millennia, what happened across the millennia. So when we went out to the dry valleys a couple of days ago, we flew over the most majestic, amazing sights you could ever see. But it's really the work going on here telling us what's happened in the past, right across our climate, what happened to weather events, what happened in particular places, understanding that this enormous, vast, frozen continent, which is so crucial to the world, was also had forest, had people, not people, sorry, but organisms and many other creatures living here that we're just beginning to understand. And it's the work of the scientists and the work of all the people who make that science happen, all the logistics, the technicians, the organisers, everybody who make that happen, who are based down here at Scott Base. And I can tell you, I've had a chance to meet with some extraordinary people, passionate, expert, world-leading, and they do it all with such humility, such passion, such drive and consistency. We should be so proud of the work that's being done here with Antarctica, New Zealand, and with all our collaborators. And we know, of course, that what happens in Antarctica and the Southern Ocean has importance, not just for New Zealand, because we're one of the closest countries in the world to Antarctica, and they're part of us and their heritage. We have a long heritage here in Antarctica of exploration and of interest in scientific endeavour. But importantly, the work that's going on here is also of huge value and of significance for the whole world. We'll see that in all sorts of ways, measuring the ozone layer, watching the weather systems, understanding the ocean currents. Jordi doesn't have to say anything because I've learned all the lingo.
No,
and,
you're across it, Dame Cindy.
all the people.
Are you proud?
And, it's great.
Okay, you say you're proud of the work that the Kiwi scientists are doing there for climate change. Are you proud of the work our government's doing on climate change?
Well, we have one minister down here with us, and you can ask him yourself. But the important thing is that actually New Zealand has a long history of being involved, and New Zealanders actually have a long history of being involved. I never realised, for example, how crucial New Zealand farmers in Southland were to helping out the Shackleton and Scott expeditions. And we had the chance to go down to the huts and see those. We're off to Discovery Hut today. And you can see, you know, New Zealand cheese. I saw New Zealand products sitting up there, but importantly, they provided direct funding support and logistical support to all the early explorations, and they continue to do that right to today. Now, none of that work would happen unless there was some government support for it, but I'm not here to talk about the government. I'm here as the Governor-General.
Yes,
That's not
you are indeed.
my area, but I can say that New Zealanders and all of the collaborators. So this morning, for example, I saw a German dive team who are collecting sea samples. And, you know,
you're seeing it all, Dame Cindy.
People from all around the world,
seeing it all.
basically, who are working here with New Zealanders.
Well, I appreciate you being with us this morning. I'm just curious, is that a window behind you? And if you open it, will we see the ice? No.
There's not a window here, but if we took you over there, you'd see the ice. And Ryan, you would love it. It is amazing. It's like the Remarkables on steroids. Think Himalayas, but bigger.
Beautiful. Dame Cindy, nice to have you on the program this morning with friend Dame Cindy Kiddo. It's 14 minutes after 8 o'clock. I've been down there before and it is stunning, it is beautiful. And the ice, like when the ice breaks off, it looks, from on the TV, they look like little icebergs, but in real life, they're like the Empire State Building size pieces of ice just drifting quietly through the ocean. It's a very bizarre place. But Dame Cindy looks like she's having a good time there. Right, NetSafe is next. They've released a scammers report. We've got details. And Todd McClay here after 8:30 from India on tariffs from the US.
For investment, it's important to find a team that you can trust.
We decided to build the GJs because of the good quality that they always provide us.
They help us throughout the whole process of getting the resource consent to the building consent, and their contracts are very easy to understand. We have built 4 houses with GJ Gardeners, and it's just easier every time we work with them.
I'll definitely recommend GJs to all of my friends and family.
If you're thinking of building, choose the builder you'll want to build with time and time again.
I became a Herald journalist to get at the truth.
I became a Herald journalist to share not only what's going on, but also what it means.
To help people make up their own minds about the issues that matter.
To give a voice to every New Zealander and to expose the issues affecting our communities.
To make sure that people that are in positions of power are held to account.
To enact change that will ultimately benefit all of society.
To take our readers closer to the action.
I became a Herald journalist to put the facts first. That's the reason we're here.
If it's news you can trust, it's news worth knowing. The New Zealand Herald.
You Do It delivers high-quality New Zealand-made flat-pack DIY kitchen cabinetry. With flexible widths at your fingertips, it makes designing easy. All at an affordable price because you order online and cut out the middleman. You can even upgrade your dream kitchen with You Do It stylish and clever options, like choosing wall cabinets with overhanging doors, or select from a range of pull-out storage solutions. Add premium soft-close drawers and ask to stretch the height, width or depth of your cabinets. Upgrade your kitchen today and head to newsroom.co.nz.
Term deposit rates are falling, but your returns shouldn't. Speak to a Forsyth Barr investment advisor about alternative strategies, their benefits and risks, and how they can help you meet your investment goals. Forsyth Barr, investment advice.
Welcome back, 8:17. So around midnight tonight, we will hear details, and tomorrow we will bring you details of the UK's plan to crack down on illegal migration. Shabana Mahmood is their Home Secretary. Here's how she describes the current policies.
It is an issue that is dividing our country, and I see this polarisation all over the country, including in my own constituency. We have a system that is out of control, it's unfair, and is putting huge pressure on communities.
Yeah, that is a Labour minister talking about the current state of legal migration, or just migration into the UK. They're going to make sweeping reforms. We'll have details tomorrow. The latest state back home of scams report is out, and it's been a bumper year for scammers, unfortunately. Bad one for Kiwi bank accounts. New figures showing 72% of Kiwis encountered a scam in the last year, with losses topping $3 billion. Sean Lyons is with NetSafe. Good morning, Sean. Good morning. Now, this report, does it tell us anything that we don't know?
I think it tells us that for many individuals things aren't getting better, that people
although they're able to spot scams or are aware of scams, there are still people that fall victim to them. So there's a bit of a disconnect, a little bit between I can see a scam, but depending on how that scam changes or looks, people are still becoming the victims of them.
So it's not a problem of education anymore. We know we can be scammed online, and we're getting the emails, but we're not cautious enough?
I think for some of them we are. For the ones that we recognise, and I think we get very familiar with certain things. You know, we lots of toll road texts that we got for a long time, and so a lot of us are very familiar with those. But it doesn't take much of a change from a toll road text to a parcel delivery text. It's exactly the same scam for someone to say, "Oh, I was waiting for that package. I'm absolutely going to click this and give them a credit card and give them a home address so they can deliver it." It takes a small change in a scam for people for a lot of that awareness or recognition to disappear.
And are they still asking for bank account numbers and stuff? Is that generally how it works?
Definitely a lot of credit card
numbers.
But bank accounts as well. And the truth is that scammers will try and grab whatever it is they can. If they feel like there's a chance that they might get your home address, your bank account, your credit card out of you, even if all they were looking for was your credit card, the chances are they'll try, because even that information, people are very fixed on the money they lose, but personal information, incredibly valuable. People take that information, sell it to other scammers, and it's used to convince us that we are from the bank or that we are from the government. So it's all valuable to the scammers, not just the dollars that they take.
When someone emails me and they tell me my name, my full name and an account number or something, I go, oh yeah, they know who I am.
Exactly. But you can probably find a few of those little bits of information in different public websites, and then add it to the odd data breach that's available out there that somebody can buy. You can put together a fairly good compendium of a person with enough information to make you feel exactly like that. This must be real. This must be the government, my bank, my employer, because they've got all these details, and who else could have these details? The truth is, scammers sometimes will have that much detail.
Okay, so the best thing to do is just be really skeptical. And when you get an email, what do you do when you get emails and saying you've got an overdue bill or whatever it might be? How do you go? Do you stop and sort of ring the company in the phone book?
Exactly that. So I try and take the time. I don't respond at the speed at which I might be feeling that, because if someone says overdue bill, you should pay that, we're going to cut off your power or, God forbid, your Netflix, then resisting that kind of pressure to say, I'll act right now, that's exactly what we need to do. And if I really do believe that I've got a problem with my rates or my water, I don't click the button in there that says, if you need to talk to a customer rep, press this button. I step back, I look for the phone number, go and get an old bill, or I Google the company directly, and I ring that number and say, is this real? Because that's the only way that I can protect myself, rather than just clicking through. They're playing on that kind of convenience factor. It seems really easy just to clear off a $80 backlog or whatever it is that I might have, but it's not easy when you see the end result is the continual transactions that might happen on my credit card.
Are they the same people that are falling for scams all the time, or is it new people every time it happens?
It's new people. I mean, there are some people that will repeatedly fall for or will be duped into a scam, but largely it's the changing of the scam that will entice a different person at a different time. It's not about a type of person that is scammed. There isn't a group in society that's getting them all. These will affect all of us at some point. If the story's right that the scammer's got, if it plays on our emotions in the right way, we're as likely to fall victim as anybody around us.
Okay, interesting stuff. Sean, appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you. Sean Lyons from NetSafe. Time is 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. So on this announcement that's coming from the UK tonight on their asylum seeker policy, on ZB this morning I spoke with UK correspondent Gavin Gray, who had the details about this one.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be sort of midnight-ish, maybe a little bit later. But this is the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, really, I think, laying down a gauntlet here, getting very tough with her asylum immigration plans. She says illegal migration is, quote, tearing the country apart. And she's preparing this big change. What it'll mean is that people granted asylum will need to wait 20 years before they can apply to settle here permanently. Now, currently, it's just a couple of years. They're taking a leaf out of the Denmark textbook here. Denmark, although it's part of the EU, has managed to get its asylum claims right down over the last few years. And that is because they're saying to all their asylum seekers, yeah, you can stay for a couple of years, but if we declare your country safe, will immediately deport you. So in other words, people, for instance, who got there from Syria are being told they've got to go back to Syria because now Denmark is saying that's safe as a country. This is something the UK is now looking to do, to review that list of safe countries frequently. And also something which is very controversial in Denmark is that large concentration of housing for asylum seekers, they can justifiably just take somebody out of that and evict them from their premises in order to disperse, what they see as perhaps being slight ghettos for asylum seekers. That I cannot see happening in the UK, but big changes here afoot when this speech comes out.
Yeah, interesting. We'll follow that tonight and bring you news tomorrow here on Early Edition. Now, Gavin, did Hitler have a micro penis?
Oh, gosh, the questions that we get asked. This is a DNA test that's being carried out on a swab of a sofa fabric on which Hitler took his own life. The bloodied swatch was taken by a colonel from the American army who, when he arrived, there was Hitler dead on the sofa and blood on the fabric. Now, at the times, of course, there was no DNA testing. Now there is, and so this swatch has been tested. And it's very interesting what it shows, this first ever DNA test. And although I dare say the clickbait headlines do concentrate on his what his propensity was for having very small genitalia and possibly only one testicle, it also shows a predisposition to autism, schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Now, they're not saying he definitely had those things, but he had a large propensity, because of his genetics, his genes, a large propensity for them. Many are saying that people should not be doing this. We should not be looking at Hitler's DNA. And certainly people from those societies, the Autism Society, are very vocal here, Ryan, saying just because we're being diagnosed with autism does not mean, we are mass murderers and looking for, it really is crazy. So it's been very controversial.
What about the micro penis people? What do they have? Are they upset that?
I haven't found any yet who would own up.
I know, random, eh? That was on ZB earlier this morning, 25 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go to our panel for the big stories of the day today. Joining us is Sarah Sparks and Chris Henry. Good morning. Good to see you both.
Morena.
Now, let's start with the capital gains. So the survey says it's like evenly split in terms of who supports it, 39% apiece. And then when you look at Auckland more specifically, actually more of us oppose a capital gains tax than the rest of the country. Sarah, what do you think's behind that, or what do you make of those numbers?
Probably because there's quite a few more property investors concentrated in this rohe. I'm not one of them, so I have a view about the policy, and I think it's courageous, and the devil obviously is going to be in the detail. But my nan used to say, those that have much is expected. So, if you've got a few investment properties, we need more tax revenue in this country. We have a divide between the rich and the poor, and we're not going to get it through raising consumption tax or income tax, and also we've got a population that's ageing. So we need to do something else, which is this. So it's in the design of it, what the rules are and what the variation is, and how is it going to be compliant?
Because you're saying we need more tax money. There's two reasons people do a capital gains tax. One is property prices. Well, this will have no effect on property prices. Two is, as you say, for more money for the state.
Absolutely.
But this is all going, apparently, Chris, towards 3 free doctors' visits.
Which is a terrible line of messaging. I mean, they could have done much better than that. But I would say that Labor would be feeling very pleased about the way that this is going. 100%. I mean, it could have gone far worse. And, it really feels like a bit of medicine that we have been meaning to take for years and years. And you're right, the devil is in the detail. And in essence, I'm up for it as well, and I'm looking forward to hearing how it gets explained a bit more, and maybe a bit more wider support from some other parties to get it into the best place it can be, in order for us to catch up with the rest of the world.
The taxing part of it, I think, unusually is actually the least controversial part of it. I think it is the spending
Yeah,
thing.
the proceeds and where they're going.
Where's it going?
Yeah,
and
true.
where are we going to get all these doctors? We don't even have them now. You know, like
yeah,
it's there.
workforce. We need the pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hey, Lotto, I thought it very cool to see that it was Kawerau supermarket, New World in Kawerau, who we spoke to this morning, that had, someone from there has won this ticket. Hopefully not someone travelling through town.
No, I mean, although I'm very guilty of going through a small town and being like, this is my time that I'll buy a Lotto ticket.
Oh, really?
This draw, I tell you what, I got involved hook, line and sinker. I'm not a Lotto buyer normally. This year, I had my fingers in lots of different pies. One ticket with some friends, went and bought one on Waiheke on Friday night, thinking, oh, maybe there might be one. But good news, guys, I was a winner. 4 bonus lines for this week's draw. I feel like it's a sign.
So
maybe I'm going to win Big Wednesdays.
A free ticket.
Oh my God. Oh really?
Yeah.
Right.
Very excited.
What about you? Any wins on your...
No, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but I don't do Lotto. It's, you know, for me, I mean, I've done a lot of mahi advocacy around gambling harm. So, you know,
so you can't.
Well, for me, it's just I don't do it. But my brother actually did win one of the, not the #1 division, but a few years back, I think it was like 2nd or 3rd, paid off his mortgage, you know.
No
but
way.
the chances are, like 0 to none that you actually win.
You really only want to be getting involved in this must-win scenario.
Well, you know, I'm old school. It's like, you know, I make my own way and earn my own money than put it out there and think pennies are going to rain from heaven.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable. Also, the anti-gambling thing kind of puts the kibosh.
Yeah, sorry, I did. Yeah, it's true though.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Finally, Christmas. This morning we were talking about, they've put a tree up in our, did you see in the foyer here?
Did.
Is it any good? I haven't seen it yet.
It is. It's large. It's very
and red.
Christmassy.
Very red.
Now,
Yeah, it's a statement.
we were talking about Christmas movies, and Di got very excited. Di, who's this year's. She loves the Hallmark movies. Absolutely froths on them. In fact, can we get you on, Di, to talk about them after news?
Curate the top, you know, the top 10 to
Yeah,
watch.
because there's a whole bunch that have come out from Hallmark, and they're on Netflix, and they're like really crap. But you sort of watch the whole thing anyway because it's quite sweet. Have you guys seen these movies, and do you have a pick for Christmas movies, Sarah?
No, sorry, I don't actually have a TV. I don't watch, and I don't have a Netflix, I know. But I do. I love choir music during Christmas, so I've got my favourites here if you want to know.
Oh, right. What do you do with your time if you don't have a TV?
I'm a bookworm. Love the library. Yeah, and lamplight books and panel, books and more books.
Very cool, Chris. What about you?
Well, I definitely have a Netflix subscription. I haven't watched any of the Hallmark films. I think by the time you get through your Home Alones, your Home Alone 2s and your Die Hards, there's probably enough Christmas movies for me every year.
Those are your go-tos.
What are yours?
Well, I would actually recommend seeing the Hallmark movies.
All right.
And you've kind of got to stick with them. My husband turned up halfway through one the other day and he was like, what is this? Because it's terrible. But it's
imagine not too difficult to follow, though. I'm sure you could...
Very easy to follow. You can come in at any point. You understand what's going on. But it's basically like these small little towns that are all Christmas obsessed, putting their decorations up. And it's very first world. What's that? Warm and fuzzy, says Di.
Like, and with everything that's going on in the world, perhaps a Hallmark movie is what we all need.
Or gingerbread.
Exactly. Oh, yes. Now, Sarah has... did you make these? Can you tell us the story behind this? Look at this beautiful box that she's brought in.
I baked gingerbread men for you guys.
Very sweet.
This morning. It's a tradition in our family. Or, I used to have little gingerbread parties when my kids were little.
How lovely is that?
So lovely and festive. And this morning, before she came in, that's impressive.
Did you make them this morning?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is what happens when you don't have a TV, people. That productive. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A live taste test.
Delish. A little more ginger would have been...
Okay, all right. Always room for improvement.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Chris. That's our panel. Here's Neva.
Herald NOW News, powered by Newstalk ZB.
Trade Minister Todd McClay says he'll continue to make the case for removing more tariffs on more New Zealand products. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order reducing tariffs on a wide range of food imports. They include New Zealand beef, prepared meats, offal, kiwi fruit, berries, avocados and certain fresh fruit. Todd McClay says exports will now be able to recover to pre-tariff levels, but tariffs on products like lamb should also be lowered too. The country appears to be split down the middle on its stance on a capital gains tax. The New Zealand Herald Kantar poll shows a dead heat between supporters and opponents of Labour's capital gains tax, with both sides having 39% of respondents behind them. All but one of the country's regions, Auckland, were generally in support of the policy. Concern New Zealand's facing a scam epidemic, with a record $3 billion lost over the last year. The latest State of Scams in New Zealand report finds 23% of Kiwis have lost money to scammers, with the average victim losing more than $3,000. It notes Gmail and Facebook are the top platforms scammers are using, with shopping scams the most common. Police have confirmed 4 people died in a house fire involving children in Manawatu, Sanson, with 1 body still not found. Emergency services were called to the property southwest of the town on State Highway 1 about 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. The bodies of 2 children and an adult were recovered from the scene yesterday. Police say investigators will focus on finding and recovering the 3rd child today and will complete a thorough scene examination. They say they aren't seeking anyone in relation to the fire. Health authorities are working to limit the spread of a superbug at Christchurch Hospital. There are 2 outbreaks of antibiotic-resistant superbug, vancomycin-resistant enterococci or VRE at the hospital. Health NZ's Dr Sarah Berger says there's currently fewer than 10 patients in Christchurch Hospital with VRE, but the outbreak is linked to a larger cluster in Auckland. Disappointment from Health New Zealand over the nurses' organisation's decision to strike during mediated bargaining. More than 37,000 members, including nurses, midwives and healthcare assistants, are beginning 2-week partial strike action today. Artificial intelligence is playing an increasing role in the retail sector. Most retailers now use AI, according to a survey of 250 Kiwi retail decision makers commissioned by software company Monday.com. However, most retailers don't trust AI to manage the whole customer experience. Larger operators see AI as helping them level the playing field with global giants like Amazon, Shein and Temu, but smaller operators have more reservations.
Herald Now Sport, brought to you by Gold Sport.
New Zealand have won the opening one-day cricket international against the West Indies in Christchurch by 7 runs. Golfer Daniel Hillier has missed qualifying for the US PGA Tour by 2 spots after finishing in a share of 16th at 11 under par in the season finale at Dubai. England have reversed the scoreline from the opening netball test against New Zealand, winning 61-58 in the second to keep the 3-match series alive.
Herald Now Weather, brought to you by You Do It Kitchens.
Good morning into a new week, and that means new weather, with the ridge of high pressure slowly moving to the east of us today and a new front approaching the South Island from the west. So that will bring strong winds and heavy rain from late tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. So not surprising to see the lower south cloudy today ahead of that system and quite windy. North to nor'easterlies will become gusty across the day, with rain for Milford Sound and showers for Queenstown. Now Canterbury takes the win here with fine skies and north or nor'easterly strengthening, high of 26 degrees. There will be some more cloud elsewhere with showers from the afternoon for the west. Now not a bad day with mostly fine skies for the lower North Island. There will be cloud developing tonight though, with a strong northerly for Wellington after midday. It's looking fine in the east here, more cloudy further west with a chance of showers for Tauranga, Whakatane and Rotorua. Winds will be from the east or northeast with 24 the high for Gisborne. And apart from cloudy periods, maybe a few unlucky showers, the upper north is okay with east to northeast winds, high of 23 degrees for Auckland.
You're watching Herald Now this morning. Great to have your company. So we obviously had a Lotto win, 3 of them here in New Zealand. But if you really want to make some coin, you go to the US for the Mega Millions jackpot, which we told you about on Friday. That has been won over the weekend. The lucky player in Georgia scooped a staggering $980 million prize, ending a 40-draw drought and making it the 8th largest win in US history, almost $1 billion. The winner can take the full amount in annual installments over 30 years or opt for a lump sum payout of $452 million. Unlike here in New Zealand, US lottery winnings are taxed there, and quite heavily too. 22 away from 9. Now I'm doing something else. Excuse me. Right. Babies. Time for some babies. Giving birth to triplets, no easy feat. Of course, I know all about that. Imagine spending 3 months, though, after birth in NICU. This is with triplets because they've been born very premature. Paraparamu mum Lucy Kerr did that after her babies were born at 30 weeks. And today is World Prematurity Day, a day to raise awareness and funds to help Kiwi families during going through the same thing. Each year, around 5,000 babies are born prematurely in this country. Lucy is with us now from Paraparamu to tell us about an epic fundraising drive that she's doing involving an incredibly long run. Good morning, good to have you on the program, Lucy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about your 3 wee ones.
Yeah, they're a year and a half now. And they're doing really well, but as you said, we spent 3 months in NICU, which was extremely difficult. So I've got identical boys and a girl.
And what happened? When did you know they were going to be premature? Why did you have to spend 3 months? How does all that work?
Right, so I guess from the very beginning, we got in touch with specialists at Wellington Hospital, and they kind of laid out the journey that we might have. They said, look, you're not going to carry them full term, most likely. It's extremely high risk pregnancy. And so I made it to 30 weeks, which was incredible, but yeah, it was tough.
Lucy, why? Why was it such a high risk pregnancy for you?
I guess carrying 3. Your body's not naturally designed to carry 3 babies, and when it does, it freaks out and I think thinks what the hell is going on. And yeah, I guess we spent 3 months in hospital because babies aren't fully developed at 30 weeks. So once they come out, they're being supported by machines essentially to keep them alive and help them grow. And that just takes a really long time once they're not in your tummy, which is the natural place for them to be.
How are they doing now?
They're really good. They're full of energy and very keep me very busy. But we are really, really lucky that we haven't come away with any long-lasting health effects. Yeah.
You're trying to raise awareness, but you're also raising money, and you're doing this with an incredibly long run. Tell us about the run.
So, I'm running 300 kilometres over the month of November, which roughly works out to be about 10K a day, although I miss days and then I have to do 20K days, but that's fine. I just really want to raise awareness for those families and what they're going through in NICU, and the incredible job that staff do. 300 Ks might sound really hard, but it's nowhere near as hard as being in NICU and having to watch your babies fight for their life. So yeah, it's the least I can do.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Lucy, where do you find the time with 3 18-month-old babies to run 300 Ks in a month?
I just have to make the time. I get up really early, or I run when they've gone to sleep. So yeah, it's just about making the time really, but it's tough.
Yeah, something tells me you've got a bit of resilience built in there after what you've been through as a mum. Lucy, best of luck with the run, and thank you for being with us this morning. It's Lucy Kerr, mum of triplets. Right, let's go to Trade Minister Todd McClay, who is with us now. The United States has removed tariffs on more than $2 billion worth of our exports. This is a major U-turn, could shape our food export market completely. Let's go to Todd McClay, who's with us live from... Oh, he's not here yet, forgive me. He's in India. We're tracking him down. He'll be with us here live next. It's 8 to 9. Now, hang on here.
You Do It DIY can make your new dream kitchen a reality. As a trusted Kiwi manufacturer for 44 years, You Do It has made it easy to design, order and assemble your own dream kitchen, offering a range of colour options and flexible sizing. With excellent online support, our customers all agree that You Do It makes DIY easy, delivering superb quality at a great price. Get your project started today at newsroom.co.nz.
We have completed 4 builds with GJ. Every time we want to think of building, we always go back to GJ.
It's a really good experience throughout the whole process.
They deliver what they promise on, and it feels like working with a family member. It's very easy and trustworthy to work with GJ.
Stop paying the waiting tax. The money you could miss out on by delaying the start of your investment journey. Up your tempo with Tempo, the guided investment app that helps you get started. Don't delay because you don't think you have enough time, money, or know-how. All you need is a goal, and our guidance will help with the rest. Plus, this month, get a guaranteed $10 Kickstarter and the chance to win $1,000. Download Tempo now.
Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Kaylee Bell, Jelly Roll, Megan Moroney, Chris Stapleton. All the country stars have come to play on the all-new iHeart Country NZ. Your new home for country is iHeart Country NZ.
Welcome back. We'll get to Todd McLean in just a second. 16 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Now, I will talk to you about capital gains taxes, because the capital gains taxes are having us split. The living rooms are split. The debate down the dinner room tables half and half, 50-50. Well, 39-39. So 39 people in favour, 39% of people in favour in this poll, 39% against. And that has got to be good news for the Labor Party, because the Labor Party was kind of thinking they would bring out a capital gains tax policy and everyone would hate it. Well, it turns out not everyone hates it. In fact, some people actually quite like it. Now, we'll talk to Todd McLean shortly, and before then we'll talk about the migration situation again. So we've got policy coming out from the UK overnight, but in America they've been doing mass deportations. Now, the mass deportations have been criticised by Pope Leo, who's the American Pope in the Vatican. And Trump's border czar has come out swinging against the Catholic Church, saying, mind your own frickin' business, please. Have a look.
Secure borders save lives. I wish the Catholic Church would understand that. We have the right to secure our borders like they have the right to secure their facility. You can't enter their facility and not get the rest. As a matter of fact, the penalties for entering their facilities are much worse than ours.
There you go. Right, let's go to Garth Bray Business Desk. Thanks to our partners 2 Degrees. He was on the program earlier and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff with Garth. Have a listen.
And that was up, and it was sort of up on on gains that it made previously. Anything over 50 in that index means that it's expanding, and it had already tipped over into the 50 plus territory last month, and it was 51.4. So a little bit of growth there.
Right.
And also particularly in the orders area, the orders were really up. In fact, 4 out of the 5 categories they measure, because they look at other things like finished stocks and employment, they were all expanding. The employment part wasn't, but I mean, we expect, you want to...
That lags.
Yeah.
Good, overall, that is good. Manufacturing, good Friday.
Good news.
And going in the right direction.
Wonderful.
Because for ages, we were below 50, which means you're in reverse.
Yeah. And this is good. So we'll wait and see. I mean, obviously, services, much bigger impact on the economy. Yes. Dropping out later today. You'd hope to see a bit of growth there.
Services is like 70% of our economy, eh?
Yeah.
So we want this number to be going well. That's coming out this morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. More businesses use private health insurance now as sort of a lure.
Yeah. This is just something we've picked up on today. Obviously, as the costs are rising, I think the inflation for, way ahead of general inflation, 7 to 14% in the last year, the jump in sort of medical costs. And so you're seeing more employers picking up on these group health schemes, which is basically where they subsidise the cost of getting into a private healthcare or, Southern Cross or anywhere. They've all bumped up premiums, sort of 21%, I think, across the board from Southern Cross and about 17 to 40%. So it's obviously quite expensive to get private cover still in this country. And but what they are arguing for is a tax break. The Financial Services Council says, look, firms that offer this get stung with a fringe benefit tax. They want to try and broaden it all out. They're saying this is increasingly kind of a nice carrot for people from countries where the healthcare system is a little bit more like where we're heading rather than what we've had, which is more expensive with longer wait lists and more private.
So do we get free health? We don't get free health insurance for working here, eh?
How do you make
like NZME? They don't offer a free or subsidised. Because at my previous job, because it was American owned, we all got private health insurance free as part of our contracts, even though we don't really need it. But that was sort of part of the thing that they offered. So more people doing that.
Lots of different ways to skin it. I mean, I think about Australia where they actually run it the other way around. They tax you more if you don't have private health cover and you earn more than, I think, 97 grand a year or something. So they've got a different kind of way of weighting it. But there are a lot of different ways to try and work it out so they can spread the load.
And now Bitcoin. People using Bitcoin might find themselves in a bit of a pickle over tax.
Yeah, right, because people possibly think of cryptocurrency as a currency, but the way it's treated from tax purposes, it's like an asset. It's like buying or selling a house or a chair or whatever. And if you're buying and selling something for in the expectation of the benefit there, you'll get stung with a CGT. So what this breaks down to is if you're using Bitcoin for, say, a coffee, you pay $6 for your coffee, you've got a tax liability or possibly a loss depending on whether that Bitcoin went up or down in value between when you bought it and when you sold it. So it's not really like money. I know, complicated. The Bitcoin industry, it's after a tax break as well. It says we need to have some sort of system which means if you're spending less than $1,000 worth of it, so you're just buying a coffee or buying clothes or whatever with this cryptocurrency, you don't have to account for that. Otherwise, it's bewildering. They reckon something like 70% of people that use Bitcoin for purchases, admittedly not a huge number of people probably in this country, are non-compliant on their tax on this.
But why is Bitcoin different from... I mean, it's...
Because you don't... I mean, like, if you spend $6 that you earned last week...
Yeah.
You don't get charged on the change in the value of that money over time because it's currency. But because Bitcoin you're buying essentially a crypto asset, it's saying, well, the value of that asset might have changed in that time. So you're effectively, it's like you're selling something that's appreciated in value. You've got to pay a CGT on that.
Is it?
Yeah.
In New Zealand? Why just that though? I mean,
well,
why not?
And a range of other, because it's like anything that you buy or sell. It's like the bright line test on houses and so on. So you do pay for it. Yeah. So they're basically after a CGT exemption to try and make this happen.
That was Garth Bray from Business Desk earlier on the program, thanks to our partners 2 Degrees. It is 10 minutes away from 9. You're on Herald Now. We'll get to the Trade Minister, Anne Dye, joining us to talk about Hallmark movies, the crappy movies on Netflix at the moment, the Christmas ones, that is. That's all ahead.
I'm Hayden Scott, and I'm a knife maker. I make knives from my workshop at home in West Auckland. Yeah, my previous life, I was a chef. Did that for 25 years, but I had this knife making thing that I was doing and had been doing for some time, and so that transition from finishing that 25-year career and taking the plunge into full-time knife maker, I had been building up to that, but I still had to take a leap.
Oh, no liming tech solutions experts.
Here to set up your new smart TV.
Oh goody, we're a family of 4, so we need it done perfect. Too high, too low, just right.
Of course we can assess your Wi-Fi network and run a speed test. And now check out these features. This is how you get to streaming.
We love streams.
Nobody has supreme knowledge of home TV setup like Noel Leeming.
Maximising productivity, what have you got?
Well, if we switch to 2 Degrees, with Flex for Business, we can instantly manage data usage, employee mobile plans, and cost centre reporting, saving us time and money. Cool. I'll get onto that then. Mm-hmm.
I became a Herald journalist to go behind the headlines and to help people make sense of the world.
I became a Herald journalist to help people understand the big issues that affect them.
To ask the right questions and to press people who have the answers.
To listen to people and to be fair and balanced.
To highlight the plight of the marginalised and vulnerable and challenge those in authority.
To share extraordinary moments in the lives of ordinary people.
I became a Herald journalist to report the facts. That's what we're here to do.
If it's news you can trust, it's news worth knowing. The New Zealand Herald.
Welcome back. The US has removed tariffs on more than $2 billion worth of our exports in a major reversal that could reshape our food export market. The President, Donald Trump, announcing at the weekend an executive order cancelling tariffs on a whole bunch of food imports. Beef, kiwi fruit, the big ones to benefit from New Zealand. Todd McClay is the Trade Minister joining us this morning. Todd, good morning. I know you're in India doing other deals, but your reaction to this, did you have any idea this was going to happen?
Brian, good morning. No, we didn't have an indication, but I'm not sure anybody in the world did. We've welcomed it, although a little bit cautiously. It's good to see those tariff rates come down. It will make a big difference, both kiwi fruit and beef and some avocados, other berries and so on. But the changing nature of tariffs from the US is still creating a lot of concern for New Zealand exporters. And so whilst the tariff rates come down, we'll be pushing to make sure I get some certainty that they stay down. The President doesn't reverse it at some point in the near or distant future.
Yeah, is that the problem when you say you're welcoming it with caution? It's because he could wake up tomorrow and change his mind again?
Well, yeah, that's right. There's no indication. I guess the reason this has happened is the US has a deficit of beef. They don't produce enough of their own, and they're having to import it. It's one of the main reasons they've been buying from New Zealand and other countries. And that tariff rate is having an inflationary effect. We know that US beef prices themselves are at some of the highest levels they've ever been. I guess that's being passed on to consumers, at the price of a hamburger at McDonald's or somewhere else. So I think that's the reason that they've come down. It's a very good thing for our beef exporters. We estimate about a $330 million a year saving on tariffs. This reduction in tariff rates covers about 25% of our exports to the US. But again, that changing nature of the tariffs, that uncertainty is making it very difficult for our exporters. Of course, there are many other exporters who are still facing that unfair 15%.
It is unfair. Minister, lots of people are commenting on this interview on YouTube as we're speaking. Kevin says, Ryan, are we calling this the Americans cancelling it now, not a U-turn? Why don't we just call it what it is? He made a business deal that suited his country, and others should probably have a listen to it. The problem with this and with this line is that he made a decision, but now because it's doing exactly what the economists said it would, i.e. push up prices, he's having to reverse it.
Yeah, I mean, the administration has said there are a number of reasons for it, but, it's hard to see that tariffs, in this instance, are not inflationary in the US market. I think we've probably got a long way to go yet before we see exactly what implication it has on the US economy. But in the meantime, our beef producers in New Zealand, those hardworking farmers and kiwi fruit growers will be rejoicing. It is very, very good for them. We'll continue to make the case that our trade remains balanced. I've said it on your show before. US imports into New Zealand faces 0.3% tariff on average. We're sitting at 15%, in some cases a little bit higher. So I'll continue to make the case that we think it should actually be lower, that we should level the playing field. But at the moment, for 25% of our tariffs, we have an advantage or a better access to that market than we did before this announcement was made a couple of days ago.
Minister, you're in India. The trade deal that we're doing with them apparently had a bit of a hiccup when they were over in New Zealand when you were doing your last round. Are you back on track?
No hiccup at all. I did read that in the media. I think it's good that the minister came down. I invited him some time ago, but it was something we had scheduled. Pia met him because that's actually a good thing to do. We have, 1.4 billion consumers in India that are very keen to buy things from New Zealand, so we roll the welcome mat out. I was always coming up here a week later. I've got a forestry trade mission here, but I'll be meeting my counterpart, Minister Kawerau, for the second or third time during this trip. We'll be sitting down tomorrow to, continue with the negotiations. We're making progress. Actually, we're making good progress, but there's still some work to do. And we're hoping that perhaps it could be done by the end of the first quarter next year. But until every I is dotted and T crossed, it's a bit soon to be too forward-leaning on a prediction.
Will it? I mean, let's temper the expectations. It's not going to include dairy, is it?
Well, we've said when we launched both sides, we're not going to talk about the detail to show a bit of respect for our negotiators, but it has to be commercially meaningful, and I haven't taken anything off the table yet. All right, appreciate your time this morning. Todd McClay, who's our Trade Minister from India, on Trump and his tariffs. It is 3 minutes away from 9. Now, I talked to you earlier about these Hallmark movies. Here's the trailer for Haul Out the Holly, which is on Netflix at the moment.
There's your citation.
For what?
No lawn display.
For insufficient Christmas decor.
Your nutcracker needs to be 36 inches from chute to chapeau.
Don't have to do any of this.
Attention all available units. Operation Deck the Halls is a go.
Pick up the pace, you lollygaggers!
Mount up!
Move, 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 move! I love Christmas!
Yes, it's cheesy and it's crap, but Di, who's one of our producers, and we were talking about these movies this morning, is so excited about the Hallmark series, we just had to get her on the show. Morning, Di.
Morning, Ryan. Look, I obviously didn't know I was coming on today. I am very much dressed for behind the scenes, but
No, you look terrible.
Thank you.
You look terrible.
I'm such a Hallmark fan that as soon as you say come on and speak about Hallmark, I have to come on because I've been wanting to promote these movies for a long time. Actually wanting to promote them on my social media. I saw them on Shine TV about 2 years ago, 7 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Yeah, this is the Christian channel.
The Christian channel. So these are very feel-good, family-friendly movies.
Right.
So they're...
No queers. Nothing weird.
Not sure if I think there has been a few actually, but anyway, usually it's male female.
Good
they meet
family
and
values, yeah.
Good family viewing. Stumbled across it, and my highlight became going to TV Guide and seeing what the next one was for the following Saturday. That was my weekly highlight because I became so obsessed with them. And then I saw they were on Netflix, and I am obsessed with the nostalgia they bring, the warmth, the fuzziness, the hot chocolate, the decorations, just imagining that you are part of this beautiful street where all the neighbours get together, decorate their homes, play games, do Santa cookie competitions, and you just imagine that you are part of this because we live in such a world that is not that.
So when you're watching these movies, Di, you live on the street. You're there.
I'm on the street. This is my happy place. I leave this movie and I'm happy, I'm calm. I've just had such a good time. I'm away from my social media, and that's what I found was the most beautiful thing, was that you're not they bring out all the warm fuzzies. They bring out how life used to be, this beautiful family-friendly movie.
But the thing is, Di, it's completely unrealistic because when you watch these movies, none of them have a job. I mean, where are they getting the time to spend 3 hours as a community putting the tree together in the middle of the street?
I have wondered that, and I've always thought they put together a fund each week, and they, let's get the street together, let's donate $5 each week, and this is going to be our, Santa statues out the front of the lawn. I don't know. That's the thing. It's escapism, Ryan. It is escapism.
So don't think about the details too much.
Don't think about the details. Be part of it. Be involved. It is honestly, I cannot speak higher of these movies. They will...
You're dead serious too.
I'm dead serious. I love Hallmark movies, and when I discovered them on Shine, I was like, because I'd read about them. In the US, they have a channel, the Hallmark channel, 24/7. We don't have that. We've got Shine TV, 7 o'clock on a Saturday. But now Netflix has caught on. There you go.
No, they know.
Netflix caught on. They know.
They're onto a good thing.
They know.
Okay, so what about there's one called, I've watched the one we just watched the trailer for, but there's one called Lit Up or something.
Lit Up.
Is that just another version of the same movie?
Correct. So that's number 2. So you've got Haul Out the Holly with Lacey Chabet, who used to be Party of 5. She's now gone onto the Hallmark scene. screen. They have their set characters. You'll see some of the same characters popping up in the same movies. So anyway, Lacey did Haul Out the Holly. Number 2, watch that. Number 2, a new family move into the street. A new family move into the street, and they are influencers. And they go big. And Lacey's going, what? You know, you're coming destroying our street. So they have all the best decorations. So that's number 2.
Okay, so I've got to watch number 2.
Yeah.
All right, and then there's a number 3 because they all come in 3s, don't they?
Usually in 3. So they don't just do Christmas movies. So I've also been watching during the year. So it will be, you know, boy meets girl, their engagement, or the meeting, the engagement, the wedding. And they'll always be in a beautiful setting. So they might be at a resort in a snow mountain, in a beautiful little village. And that's the escapism. You want your house to look like that.
Yeah.
You want those decorations. You don't want to be in West Auckland.
Which is where Di lives. Di, thank you.
No problem.
Good to see you. That's Di on the Hallmark movies, who I think has a new job doing promo. 2 minutes after 9 on Herald Now. Here's Neva.
Herald Now News, powered by News Talk ZB.
Trade Minister Todd McClay says he'll continue to make the case for removing more tariffs on more New Zealand products. US President Donald Trump signed an executive order reducing tariffs on a wide range of food imports. They include New Zealand beef, prepared meats, offal, kiwi fruit, berries, avocados and certain fresh fruit. Todd McClay says exports will now be able to recover to pre-tariff levels, but tariffs on products like lamb should also be lowered too. The country appears to be split down the middle on its stance on a capital gains tax. The New Zealand Herald Kantar poll shows a dead heat between supporters and opponents of Labour's capital gains tax, with both sides having 39% of respondents behind them. All but one of the country's regions, Auckland, were generally in support of the policy. Concern New Zealand's facing a scam epidemic, with a record $3 billion lost over the last year. The latest State of Scams in New Zealand report finds 23% of Kiwis have lost money to scammers, with the average victim losing more than $3,000. It notes Gmail and Facebook are the top platforms scammers are using, with shopping scams the most common. Police have confirmed 4 people died in a house fire involving children in Manawatu, Sanson, with 1 body still not found. Emergency services were called to the property southwest of the town on State Highway 1 about 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. The bodies of 2 children and an adult were recovered from the scene yesterday. Police say investigators will focus on finding and recovering the 3rd child today and will complete a thorough scene examination. They say they aren't seeking anyone in relation to the fire. Health authorities are working to limit the spread of a superbug at Christchurch Hospital. There are 2 outbreaks of antibiotic-resistant superbug, vancomycin-resistant enterococci or VRE at the hospital. Health NZ's Dr Sarah Berger says there's currently fewer than 10 patients in Christchurch Hospital with VRE, but the outbreak is linked to a larger cluster in Auckland. Disappointment from Health New Zealand over the nurses' organisation's decision to strike during mediated bargaining. More than 37,000 members, including nurses, midwives and healthcare assistants, are beginning 2-week partial strike action today. Artificial intelligence is playing an increasing role in the retail sector. Most retailers now use AI, according to a survey of 250 Kiwi retail decision makers commissioned by software company Monday.com. However, most retailers don't trust AI to manage the whole customer experience. Larger operators see AI as helping them level the playing field with global giants like Amazon, Shein and Temu, but smaller operators have more reservations.
Herald Now Sport, brought to you by Gold Sport.
New Zealand have won the opening one-day cricket international against the West Indies in Christchurch by 7 runs. Golfer Daniel Hillier has missed qualifying for the US PGA Tour by 2 spots after finishing in a share of 16th at 11 under par in the season finale at Dubai. England have reversed the scoreline from the opening netball test against New Zealand, winning 61-58 in the second to keep the 3-match series alive.
Herald Now weather. Brought to you by You Do It Kitchens.
Good morning, into a new week, and that means new weather, with the ridge of high pressure slowly moving to the east of us today and a new front approaching the South Island from the west. So that will bring strong winds and heavy rain from late tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. So not surprising to see the lower south cloudy today ahead of that system, and quite windy. North to nor'easterlies will become gusty across the day, with rain for Milford Sound and showers for Queenstown. Now Canterbury takes the win here, with fine skies and north or nor'easterly strengthening, high of 26 degrees. There will be some more cloud elsewhere, with showers from the afternoon for the west. Now, not a bad day with mostly fine skies for the lower North Island. There will be cloud developing tonight though, with a strong northerly for Wellington after midday. It's looking fine in the east here, more cloudy further west with a chance of showers for Tauranga, Whakatane and Rotorua. Winds will be from the east or northeast with 24 the high for Gisborne. And apart from cloudy periods, maybe a few unlucky showers, the upper north is okay with east to northeast winds, high of 23 degrees for Auckland.
And that's it for us for your Monday morning. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow from 7 o'clock. In the meantime, head to nzherald.co.nz for more news and information. Until tomorrow, have a great day.